Okay, now let me share my screen. Well, Alex, in our speaking, uh, we can say most of students and candidates for IELTS actually have a misunderstanding about speaking part one or two. Okay, but there is a point here that you need to pay attention. And most of students and candidates think that, okay, the more complicated words and idioms I use, the better score I get. No, IELTS speaking should be really natural. So you need to speak naturally. Of course, the use of idioms, collocations, vocabulary research, grammar range. So they're really important and they can boost your score, of course, but not too much, you know? So that, for example, you say one sentence and the whole sentence includes lots, just, some complicated words or idioms. No, yeah, one idiom to show my ability. Okay, so I have enough vocabulary research so I can use idioms. Or for example, grammar range, that is really, really important. Definitely important, and you need to show, for example, because normally we tend to use present simple, especially because the questions are actually about general in part one, like a general question. So we tend to talk in present simple, but of course you need to use variety, different grammar and structure so that you can show your ability that I have enough grammar range. Well, today we're going to talk about part two and part three. So again, we discussed the weather. After that, we will move on again, the writing section. So let's get started. Let me ask you my first question. As you know, in part two, a cue card is given to you and you need to, if you want, you can make note, and after that, you need to talk about it. So a cue card includes actually question, maybe something, a topic, and of course, 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4 questions. So you need to think about it, and you will given about 1 minute to think. If you want, you can make notes, and after that, you start talking. Why it's important to make notes? Yeah, I'm thinking, okay, I have 1 minute to think about this part, so I can write the words that I want to use. So I plan for it so that when talking, I don't forget. And so that's really important. Just write maybe the keywords that help you to make your answer. Well, okay. And now let's get started with part two. Let me write the question on the board. Okay, topic is describe your favorite season. You should say So this is your cue card, and now you have time. Just think about it, and after that, we can talk about it. I will help you to make your answer.
Or should I talk about it now or something?
Of course, if you're ready, you can start talking.
Uh,
Then I will help you to make just first. I want to get your answer.
um, so what my favorite season is winter when it's come to the end of the year because there's no more heavy rain like pouring down and it's cold but it's not too freezing. It's just like cool and quite chilly. So it's just really comfortable for you to drive to school when there's not much sunny outside. But and the activities we usually do during the season is just have some tests for the semester and then just enjoy the holiday and then you come to the end of the year. So it's quite chill in the season. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So very good. Well, so your favorite season is winter. How to begin? Okay. How to begin my answer? Okay. So, okay, just jump or no. Like, it's better to have a good, maybe beginning sentence. So you can start with this sentence. Of course, that's really difficult. As I like things about every season. So every season has its own beauties and maybe positive things. But now I want, as I told you, grammar range. I want to use second conditional. If I had to choose one, I guess I would go for winter. So let me write it here. So, okay. So, but I had to choose one, I guess I'd go for winter. So this is the beginning of my answer. So why? But you can say, okay, which months? Because I said you didn't answer this question. Okay, what season? And actually, you need to say, for example, which month you need to say. Okay, so tell me, for example, winter covers the month of which months in your country?
Um I think it's from October to November.
Yeah.
December.
Okay, so very good. So you can say it covers the month of, okay, for example, October and to, for example, okay, in my country, because maybe it's different in different countries. In my country. Okay, so this is about the first part. When it occurs, you need to say it covers. You can say, okay, that it begins, okay, from October and it continues. No, but it's better to say it covers because it's IELTS. So it covers the month of October to December in my country. Or you can give the month one by one. Okay, so you can say, for example, let's continue. I want to write another sentence and I say, I spend the colorful fall days or month looking forward to the first signs of winter. As, for example, we get downpours. So let me write. I spend the colorful fall month looking forward to the first, let me put your foot in, okay, signs of winter. As, okay, now you can talk about it. And it rains every day, for example, as it rains, for example, every day, okay? And you can say that my life is changed by the season, like this, for example, my mood or something like this. Then, okay, if you have snow, you need to talk about it. So don't you have snow? It's just raining, yeah?
Mm, yeah.
Okay, so there is no snow, so we don't mention it. Okay, so you can say that we get, actually, let me, okay, so you can say sometimes we get caught in a downpour on our way to, for example, home, but it's really, I don't know, exciting. So sometime you want to say that, let me, I want to show you a photo if I have, it's not here. So you can say soaking wet, extremely wet, especially when you are caught or when you get caught in rain and then all your clothes are wet. So you can say soaking wet. So become or to be soaking wet. Sometimes, okay, I get soaking wet because, you know, I get caught in a downpour. So to get caught in a downpour. Do you remember that I told you downpour means heavy rain, like heavy
Yeah.
shower, like heavy shower of rain. So you can say soaking wet means very wet, to be or to get, to be very wet, extremely. So I am, my clothes are soaking wet or become soaking wet because we get stuck in the rain. Okay, and you can say in winter days, actually, some people think that it's miserable weather because it's been raining cats and dog all day. So it's been raining cats and dogs all day. Okay, raining cats and dogs means raining heavily. Okay, raining heavily. So you can say, so some people actually think a winter is miserable. Miserable is awful, it's really bad. So terrible. You can say the weather is miserable, but I like it. I like it. Okay, so you can say something like this. Well, so you talk about the situation, how is the weather, and you get, for example, rain, okay, especially, so you can talk, do you remember that I told you when we get a break in the weather, so do you remember? It means to have a small change from unpleasant and bad weather to good weather. Do you remember?
Oh
Now,
yeah.
so even now you can use it again. Now you can use it, even break in the weather on, for example, rainy or overcast day can lift my spirit. So now you can use this. Okay, so I like, after lots of rain, when actually the weather, gets a bit better so that we can maybe rainbow, especially, yeah, you can talk about rainbow because it's really beautiful and we normally have it. And so we normally have it after actually a heavy rain. So you can talk about it, why not? So it's okay. Well, and this is about this one. So about part two, just let me think if I want to. Okay, I answered the second one. Why? About activities. You didn't talk about activities that you do. So could you briefly talk about it? What do people normally do in your country when it's raining? So what activities? For example, how we spend our days.
Like in fall season or
For
something.
example, yeah, for example, when it's winter, of course. If it's summer, you can go out, you can do, for example, some outdoor activities, okay, to entertain. But how about
Oh,
winter? What do people normally do?
well, well, they just go on a normal day, but as we didn't like Christmas wasn't a big holiday for us, but like it was the um New Year holiday coming after the winter, so I think our people usually were preparing really early. Like as it's come to winter, you can see them just having a lot of like New Year holiday stuff. Like I don't know how to say it's like flowers for the New Year. They're
Yeah.
already have outside,
Mhm.
so people was just going out and preparing for the New Year.
Yeah, of course. So people actually, so you can say that actually especially actually the end of the winter, you can say that everywhere is hive of activity. So everyone is doing something, people doing something. Hive of activity means very busy. For example, when a place is hive of activity, it means it's very busy. For example, you can say, normally people go to work, do something in the street, so it's something like somewhere is hive of activity. Okay, so you can say because people are getting ready for spring and for the new year. Okay, but you can also say that, in winter, because actually it's not freezing so that you can go out. So you can spend evenings outdoors. So you can spend evenings outdoors. For example, if you want to, rather than being stuck in watching TV, because normally in winter we do it in watching TV. So you can hit the pubs or clubs or restaurants or etc. So everywhere to drink and eat something. Okay, so you can say to do some chit chat with friends. Okay, so you can do something like this. So this is about the second one, this question. Okay, that was really important. The third question, just you need to actually your answer, should include all these questions. So that's really important. If you miss one part, of course, you will lose your score. So that's really important. Okay. Just because of this, I told you that you need to make notes so that you do, because when talking, we may forget what we want to say. Okay. Yeah, it's really suddenly it slipped my mind so that I forget about it. I can't talk about it. So that when I check my notes and no worries, that's okay. I can check my notes and keep going. Well, and explain why it's your favorite season. Now you can talk about it. I like the season because, uh, actually, if I want to explain, there are lots of reasons why winter is my favorite season. For example, I love cold weather. So, and I love, for example, rainy days, walking in the rain, and I like the freshness, after winter. So you can talk about the spring after winter and something like, all people actually are getting ready for New Year. So you can talk finally just one or two lines and that's enough. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, very good. Do you have any questions related to this part?
Not, no.
Okay, very good. Well, and now part 3. Again, a few questions will be asked related to this part 2 again. Now, I'm going to ask you my first question. Just think about it and try to make your answer. If possible, it's really good to use the words and phrases that we discussed. Okay, how do the different seasons affect the lifestyle of people in your country?
Um, well, it's difficult to say, but like usually it's been like in bad weather only when there's a hive of activities in the year was near summer when everything just came up and we're very busy. But when it's come to off season where everybody just stay home and enjoy, the weather is pretty nice. I think it's
Okay.
not
Mhm.
usually getting soaking wet, but it's often get pretty sunny and chill. So yeah. I think so. Yeah, I
Wow.
think so.
Yeah, okay, very good. So let's talk about mild climates, not hot nor cold. So it's good one. Okay, maybe good weather. As we have a fairly maybe mild climate, people are able to enjoy the outdoors all time of year. So you can say, for example, if like I don't know spring or winter in your country, of course I don't know. Maybe summer, of course, summer is the most popular time for going to the beach and such like, but even maybe on winter's day, you will see people out walking along the shore beach, enjoying the fresh air. So you can see something like this. Okay. Actually, you can say if the weather is unpredictable in your country. So with our unpredictable weather, we are used to getting caught in the rain whatever the season. So we just put on our waterproofs and off we go. So it's about, of course, when it's warm, people tend to take picnic or they go out for walking, cycling. But in chilly weather, they're more likely to stop, for example, stop off at a cozy pub, cafe for something to eat. So you can say, okay, and one of the biggest, you can say, differences in our lifestyle through the seasons is down to actually, for example, what if there is a big difference? Okay, so justice, it's really easy, but it's a bit different. So your answer was good, but it was like general speaking. But IELTS, we normally actually tell to students and candidates, sorry, but because this is IELTS, your answer is perfect, but you say, okay, it's really good. But in IELTS, you should, I don't know, change it a bit. Maybe a bit, okay, more advanced. So let me write. So as we have, for example, fairly mild weather or climate, people are able to enjoy the outdoors. Of course, people like all times. So this one, for example, of course, summer, everywhere, I think, in my country and the other countries, summer is the most popular time for what? For hitting. So you can say hit the beach or go to the beach. So for going to the beach and such like, some other activities like this one. But even because you don't have snow, you can say that, but even on winter's day, you'll see people out walking. I don't want to repeat beach, so I say along the shore, beach, okay? Enjoying. Okay, so this one. And now, with our unpredictable, so we can't predict it suddenly start rain. Okay, so unpredictable weather. Okay, we are, again, as I told you, you can use get used to or be used to. We are used to getting caught in the rain. So it's really normal. Okay, and whatever the season. So maybe it's winter or summer if you have. Of course, it's, I don't know. So you can say whatever the season. So we just put on our waterproofs and off we go everywhere we want so that we don't get soaking wet. Okay, when it's pouring down, we don't get wet or soaking wet. Okay, so the next part, as I told you, when it's warm, people tend to take, tend to, they're willing, they like to, tend to take a picnic, okay, when they go out walking or, for example, cycling. But in Chile, don't repeat cold. Chilly weather, they are more likely to go, instead of saying to go out to sit somewhere, I say to stop off at a cozy pub, like a restaurant that serves drink and food. So it's not cafe, it's not restaurant. So it's a kind of restaurant that serves drink and food, not only food, okay? Pub or pay for something to eat. Okay. So if it's warm weather, if it's summer, it's better for people to go out, to take a walk, cycle, and to cycle. But you know, they can, of course, take picnic. But in chilly weather, and it's a bit cold, they're more likely to stop somewhere, for example, stop off at a cozy place like a restaurant, pub, or for example, cafe for something to eat. Okay? Okay. Done?
Okay.
Well, number two, do you think this one is really important? Just pay attention. Okay. Do you think people who live in cold places have different personalities to people who live in warm or hot places?
What hot places?
Yeah, again, let me ask my question. Do you think people who live in cold places like cold countries or okay have different personalities, characters to people who live in warm or hot places?
Well, I don't think they're usually a big difference, but for me, I think people in like hot weather and warm, so some people they usually get angry really quickly. It's really, you know, easy to see when you come into like the north, like people was more chill than our like local people in my cities. Like, you know, when you ordering food, like, I don't know, like local restaurants. I mean, people usually get really angry when you're just ordering. I mean, like, like if they have to wait for a long time, and you're choosing food from a menu, they just go away and then just don't care to you. So
Yeah.
like, you just call that back if you want to get food. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So actually, uh, let's. It's a bit different because I knew something about it. So let me say something. Normally that's something that we've never considered. Of course, we never think about it, but uh, now I come to think of it. So you can begin your answer. Uh, I'm sure, yeah, they do. They're different. From my experience, so it's something that's actually I experienced. People living in cold countries are fairly reserved, like, I don't know, not really outgoing, and quite serious. I don't know why, but they're quite serious. Those living in hot climates, on the other hand, are more outgoing, friendly, full of life. For example, because actually, I traveled to different countries and I know that people are a bit different. And that's apart from the most humid regions where actually I think so hot, sticky because it's humid, so that people just want to sit around and do nothing all day. So here we need to, because the question asked about cold and hot. Now I want to divide my answer into three parts, maybe three weathers, three type of weather. Okay, so the first one, let's write about cold weather. So just how to begin. Of course, it's not something that you think about it every day. Just, every day I think about how people behave differently in different countries. No, of course you don't think about it. So something new. And maybe you need to think about it, but you can't wait like this. It's not good. So if you want to take time, it's better to begin and add the actually moment you think about it. So I say, uh, that's something I've never considered. I've never thought about it. But now I come to think of. I come to think of it. So now I want to think about it. Okay, I said something else. It's not related to my answer, but actually I took time to think about it. Now, I'm sure my answer, because I say yes, you can say no. I'm sure they do. Do they have? Yes, they do. I'm sure they do. My short answer. From my experience, people living in cold countries are fairly reserved, like, not, I don't know, introvert, and quite serious. Those living in hot climates, on the other hand, because I want to make a contrast here. On the other hand, are more outgoing and friendly and full of energy, full of energy and welcoming people, people who actually are happy when a visitor maybe or a guest visit their country or the place. So something they were welcoming, they're really happy. If you travel somewhere, if people are welcoming, they're really happy. They actually behave really something like kindly, friendly, so they're welcoming, okay? So, and welcoming. But that's apart from the most wet, humid regions where, okay, first of all, I explain what I mean, where it's so hot and sticky, you actually get stuck, I don't know, on your seat. So sticky that you just want to sit around, to sit and do nothing all day. So three maybe, okay, different climates, regions, okay, just, as you can see, first of all, countries, after that, climate, and after that, I use region. So I didn't say country, or region, so I didn't repeat. The first point here that is really important, avoid repeating the same word again and again. Try to use better alternatives, new ones, synonyms, paraphrases, okay? And just, now, as you can see, there is no really complicated words, but I could make my answer easily, okay? Now, may I ask you to answer this question again using, just read my answer, okay? So again, just pay attention to intonation. That's really important. Don't read, say. So do you think people who live in cold places have different personalities to people who live in warm or hot places?
Well, I'm not sure because didn't went to the north much, but I'm sure they will share a different personality. When people in the north, they could be quite serious and didn't really friendly as I was a south customer and I could see it, and others where the people lived in my place in the south, they were much more outgoing and welcoming the tourists. And I don't know, I think them could be based on the weather, or it's just different, you know, culture in the difference between the north and the south, where I could easily see the difference. So yeah, I think them don't share the same personality, but there could be different where everybody's just outgoing and full of energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Very good. Just that was really good point. I'm gonna add something to my answer because you mentioned a good point. So just just let me say something about, because I use fairly a lot, and I'm not sure if you know the meaning of fairly. Fairly means quiet, but I don't want to repeat quiet, so I use fairly. Okay, and well. Yeah, you said that, and reserved, as I told you, is something like people who don't show their feelings, like it's something like introvert maybe people. Okay. Uh, you mentioned a good point here. You said that, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, of course they have, but maybe there are many other factors than temperature and weather that affect people's personalities or characters. So let's add it. At the end of my answer, you can say, although I'd have
Oh, can you
to,
turn off the share screen?
I'm sorry, I'm not sharing.
Oh,
What,
I don't
but
know.
I was sharing, right? But what happened?
Yeah.
Some, yeah, I was sharing because I don't know, maybe. Okay. Is it okay now?
Okay.
Can you see? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, although I'd have to agree overall, so totally I agree. I think there are many other factors, and I don't want to repeat weather. So I say then temperature and the weather. Okay, that affect people's personalities. Okay, I couldn't see what I typed, so let me, okay. Yeah, so as you said, maybe culture, so it's different, okay? But weather is one of them, but totally I agree, okay?
Yeah.
Well, and now the next one. Do you think there are any problems with the words climate now? There are any problems with the words climate now?
No.
No. Of course we have global warming. That's really important nowadays.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. It's really important. Uh, I know that it's difficult, but just think about it. We need to discuss all the questions related to this topic. So no worries, I will help you.
Okay.
So do you have any idea?
Oh, I don't know. I just.
Okay, so let me help you. Yeah, of course, maybe it's something new, but this one is definitely important and common. Global warming, climate change. Okay, that's definitely, I would talk about it later. So I believe, yeah, I believe that we are facing many serious issues with our climates at the moment, and they're only going to get worse, really bad, unless we do something about global warming. So that's really important. You know, in my country, actually, the winters are getting milder. You know, we don't have very heavy snow, and weather and serious, sometimes serious flooding. You know, it's becoming something like common in different countries, and it's a real problem in many areas. You know, however, that's nothing compared to actually devastating tropical storms. So all these actually natural disasters are related to global warming, and actually that some parts of world are experiencing. So tropical storm, heavy rain, flood, okay, you can talk about them. And actually, it's been predicted that they will get even stronger in the future. So we will get stronger storms, maybe typhoon in the future. And one of the most serious problems of climate change is the melting of ice caps, icebergs, as it's causing rising sea levels. We have more waters, and it's possible that many coastal areas could be underwater by the end of the century. So now that's really is worry, you know? So this is all about this answer. Let me help you. Let me write, okay, on the board so that just global warming is really common topic. Don't forget about it. So I can say that I believe that we're facing, what is this? Okay, many serious issues with our climate at the moment, and they're only going to get worse unless we do something about what? About global warming soon. So this is my first, actually, in my country. Now I can do an example. In my country, the winters are getting milder. Okay, not really heavy snow and better. And of course, serious flooding is becoming common in some countries. Okay, so it's a real problem. It's a real problem in many areas. However, we have something more important. However, I think that's nothing compared to devastating tropical storms that some parts of the world are experiencing. And maybe another thing that is really important. So one of the most crucial issues of climate change is the melting change of, you know, that solid to liquid melting of the ice caps as it's rising, or it's causing sea levels. So it caused, and it's possible that many coastal areas could be under water by the end of the century. Now, that's really is a worry. Okay, so this one can be your answer. Okay, first of all, just let me say, devastated, like very shocked or upset, like very sad. Okay, this is the meaning of devastated. Of course, it's and about tropical storm. If you want to know, of course, as I told you, it's something like kind of storm, and like it caused by global warming. Very powerful, it's very strong, very powerful storm. It's tropical, strong winds, heavy rainfall. So it's something like can be really disruptive and dangerous. So this is tropical storm. Okay?
Okay.
Well, and this is all about weather. Any questions, any issues, or it's clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, that's great. Just, Alex, don't forget about practice and studying. Try to use them because, the next session we will move on new topic. And of course, you need to know everything about weather. So the next session, if I ask you any question related to the weather, you can answer, okay? You will be able to answer, okay?
Okay.
That's great. So time is over and let's go. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye.